What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another weekly news video. There's only 2 to 3 topics to talk through today. I'm not feeling 100%. I got back from Hong Kong yesterday, but I tested positive to the Rona on my second last day, which is, a little bit annoying. Still a bit under the weather, but just bear with me in this one. We'll cover a few topics and then I'll rest up and be back for regular scheduled programming in the next few days. Now, the first thing I want to touch on is a pretty cool post that PSA made regarding, fake Michael Jordan rookie cards. Now, if you're not sure how to spot, fake Michael Jordan rookie cards, there's a number of clear-cut, examples on, forums, videos, all that kind of thing that take you through it. But they've essentially done that again with this post where, they've clarified what some of the key tells are, as you can sort of see on screen right now. Breakout Cards, Ryan basically did a really good job of this in his book, if I remember correctly. He's also talked about it in some of his videos, so do check those out. But I thought this was pretty cool from PSA, not the fact that they've shown this, but what they've shown on this page here, and that is over 400 cards, fake Michael Jordan rookie cards made it into their office for grading. And it's just surprising that so many people are still submitting these and so many people are maybe trying to intentionally pull the wool over PSA's eyes. Now, this represents about 22% of all Michael Jordan rookie cards being submitted, which is quite a large amount. And it's just surprising to sort of see that volume. And I think it's pretty cool, like I said before, for the likes of PSA and some of these other graders to sort of share things like this with us, right? Be a bit more transparent. Tell us about what's coming in and sort of explaining stuff like this, tips and tricks on how to spot fakes and all that kind of stuff. This is the kind of thing that I've been saying for a long time that these businesses within this hobby should be doing, because it's sort of like low effort for them, but high value, because it creates this sort of database and this ease of reference for newbies and people that don't really know to reference and understand things a bit further. But I would really like them to sort of explain this a bit more in the sense of what do they do with these fake cards? What are they actually doing to combat these things coming in? Are they destroying them? Are they sending them back to the respective customers? I think they are sending them back, because I don't think they have the sort of legal liability or the process around that to destroy cards for customers. But what I would like to see them comment on is, what kind of monitoring are they doing in the back end for stuff like this, right? Because if we put, a thinking cap on and we talk about people that are intentionally submitting these cards to PSA, right? Trying to fool them, doing the same thing with BGS, doing the same thing with, SGC and CGC and all that kind of stuff. What are they doing, once these things come in? Are they tracking who they come in from? Are they monitoring that? Do they have trackers internally that track the number? And I've said track a lot there. The number of cards that come in from specific users. Is there sort of a commonality between them? Are they coming from the same location? Are they going through group submitters? All this kind of stuff. I would really like, PSA to talk about that a little bit more, because that gives more substance and more, added protection for us as customers or for wanting to use them. It helps build trust. And that's why I think this thing is pretty cool today. And I know I just spoke for 3 minutes about, fake Michael Jordan rookie cards in this one post, but that's why I want to talk about it, because them showing this, right, is really cool. But let's take it one step further and give that context as to, what are they doing to build trust? What are they doing to sort of monitor this stuff internally? How are they tracking it? All that sort of stuff, right? That stuff is just really, really cool. And I hope we sort of see it continue. And I just apologize if I spoke out of circle there. I'm not feeling too well, like I said, but I'm keen to hear what you guys have to say on this one. I think, how to spot fake Michael Jordan rookie cards is pretty clear cut these days, but it's always good to explain things and get, newbies up to speed and all that kind of stuff. Keep it front of mind is the word I'm looking for. But I really like this kind of disclosure to go one step further and say, okay, what's happening in the background? What are we doing? How are we monitoring this sort of stuff? And then feed that back to us as collectors, as customers, because like I said, it builds trust. And once you build that trust, it gives you more comfort to want to use them as a business. Now, you could still hate PSA, that's perfectly fine. But I just thought that was a pretty cool way to think about it. And I'm keen to hear what you guys have to say. Now, the next thing very quickly relates to this Disney 100 Topps Chrome, hobby box release, because this sort of caught me off guard, and it looks like it caught a few people off guard as well. Unfortunately, it's sold out, and it sold out for £150, I think is what it ended up selling for. I'm not sure if that was the same for every region, but I couldn't get a box, which is a bit disappointing by the time I sort of realized that it was gone. So I'm not sure how much, advertising Topps actually did for this. And if anyone has any idea, please let me know how I could have spotted this before it did, in fact, get released. Because whilst I was overseas, I would have liked to have chased it, because I'm obviously a big Disney nerd. I know it's a bit faux pas or taboo to say these days, given how woke they've become. But, I grew up on this sort of stuff like many of you guys. It's pretty cool to try and collect and build sets when it comes to stuff like this. I missed out on Kakawao. I just thought this was, a pretty cool announcement from Topps that definitely went under the radar. Now, they once again do have the facsimile autos, with the fake autos basically of the characters, but they are, pretty cool. And some of the artwork here, while it's not as good as the Kakao stuff, still looks quite cool at the end of the day. And I'm sort of keen to see what others think of this. Now, the checklist is also a bit weird. It's not as cool as what Kakao is, once again. But I thought this was pretty awesome. And I want to know if any of you guys managed to get one of these boxes. And if you did, please let me know down in the comments below, because I'm pretty jealous and I want to watch some unboxings of this, because it is a fun rip. And stuff like this, because it is somewhat affordable, that's not a super expensive box of cards, especially a hobby box. This kind of stuff is what collecting is all about for me. It's about ripping things that you can build sets with, like all my Dragon Ball Z stuff that I used to have on my shelf over there that I now moved off camera. That was, somewhat, inexpensive, but it was stuff that I could rip, have fun with ripping, but then add to sets and build collections. And that's what ripping cards is all about for me. It's sort of been ruined in the last few years because I can't afford hobby boxes, and retail stuff just isn't worth buying, especially, here in Australia where it's so much more expensive. And yes, I'm going on a complete tangent right now, but the general point I wanted to make is I thought this was pretty cool. I'm very disappointed it was under the radar, but I'm keen to sort of see how I could have spotted this earlier. So if you guys knew, please let me know down in the comments below. And then also, if you are going to be ripping it, let me know so I can check it on your page and sort of see, what hits you get and all that kind of stuff. Because, like I said, hobby boxes are expensive. This stuff is somewhat affordable for the most part. Retail was just overpriced these days, especially with what you get. And I thought something like this would be pretty cool, but I missed out. So it is what it is. Now, one thing I wanted to quickly clarify relates to one of my Q&A videos that I put out in the last 2 weeks. I basically put out 4, I don't remember which one it was specifically. It might be this one over here, where I made some comments around, what cards would be worth money in the long run. I think I talked about it in this video over here as well. And I sort of mentioned that for me, on-card autos and game use patches are cards that are going to matter long term. And I got a few comments with people sort of taking umbrage to that, because they basically said, well, I don't like patches, I don't like sticker autos, so why would I want those? Those cards don't matter to me. And that's an issue on my part, because I probably should have explained myself a little bit clearer. I thought I did. My general consensus was, buy the cards you want, collect what you want. As long as you're having fun and you're being sensible with your spending, you're going to be fine. But my line of thinking is that I really like game use stuff because it takes collecting to another level for me. Same with on-card autos, because you have that, additional, relationship with the player on that card, because they've touched it, they've had to sign it, it's got a piece of match-worn stuff in there, right? So for me, that's really cool, but that's not for everyone. So the general consensus is, if you're going to be chasing stuff, buy what you like, have fun, all that kind of stuff, but just make sure you're sensible and make sure you're thinking through it and you're not doing what a lot of other people are, and they're sort of being cheap and following the trends. It's okay to follow the trends if you like the trends, but buy what you like. Don't let others tell you what is good to collect and what is not good to collect. And I apologize again if my words sort of implied that, because that's certainly not the case, right? I'm not going to tell you, how to collect or who to collect. Just make sure you're being sensible and you're not, burning yourself, or you're not following the trends of these other sheep, unless that is what you want to do, right? So that's sort of it for the news items for today. Like I mentioned in my last few videos, I went to Hong Kong for a wedding, but also went there for the Asia Sports Collectors Convention, which was fantastic. I was there for day 1 and day 3, and the cards that I saw there, as I'm sure you guys may have seen in some other content creators' vlogs since, were utterly amazing. And I unfortunately didn't pick anything up. The only thing I picked up was the Rona, which is pretty disappointing, but I did drop off some cards to get graded. I'll share, which company that was in a future video. I'm basically going to do a vlog. I'm going to combine day 1 and day 3 into one video, so you should see that in the next 3 or 4 days. But the show was awesome. The cards that were there, I cannot emphasize at how sort of once in a lifetime some of them were. I saw a Grail piece of mine, but unfortunately it was too expensive. And I think the show was a general hit across the board. I got to interview the guys that ran the show, so you'll see that in the video. I basically got a backstage tour with some sort of stuff as well from the guys from Card Hobby, which was, again, very exciting to sort of see that sort of stuff, because for me, being in Australia, I know what collectors are like in this part of the world, and that was sort of on show exactly like it is here in Australia, out in Macau, and having all these collectors come from China, Hong Kong, Macau, all around Asia, and see the PC cards they do have was just insane. So you're going to see those in the video, and it was just pretty cool. I think the one disappointment with the show was the fact that they were all collectors first and foremost, and that was to sort of be expected. And the reason why that's a disappointment, because I did get to see some pretty cool cards, it was disappointment because many of those things weren't for sale, or they had very high prices because they had good stuff and they knew what it was worth, or it's for the PC, so they didn't actually need to sell it. But stay tuned for that in the video. Let me know what you think when you see that in a few days' time, because I did film a lot of tables and there is some, pretty amazing cards there. And you will see in the next video that I will be filming with a new face cam. So I picked up a camera to film at the show, and I've been pretty unhappy with, the webcam that I use for my videos. So you'll see a huge improvement with that once it's hooked up. But that's sort of it for today. So my voice is about to go. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.